It is now time for our portion of the program produced by our underwriters, the National Association of Home Builders. Please welcome Dean Mon, 2020 Chairman of the National Association of Home Builders.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean. And Kelly Zuccarelli, Senior Vice President and National Builder and Condo Program Manager with Wells Fargo. Dean and Kelly, great to see you both. The floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Dean Mon, the Chairman of the Board of the National Association of Home Builders, and it's my pleasure to be here today. I want to thank all of you for coming. It is a pleasure to be here today. I'm much warmer than I thought it would be. We're being from New Jersey. However, there are still many barriers, actual or perceived, to home ownership. Here with me today is my friend Kelly Zuccarelli of the Wells Fargo Home Mortgage. I know she's going to offer valuable insight into the home buying process. Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Dean, and he's right. We are friends. We've known each other for 20 plus years, and he actually acted as a mentor to me when I entered the mortgage industry and found that home buying and home builders was a great fit for me because of my passion, which is making sure that everyone has a great roof over their head. At Wells Fargo, we do an awful lot to give back to the community, and we don't often tell everyone what we do, but something that I led this year in our giving back to the community was pennies for programs. So you heard that I'm a program leader. I challenged everybody on my team to get the pennies out of the little compartments in their car, the jar at their house, and let's make a difference with those pennies. And when you have 100 people and their children wrapping all of those coins, what a difference you can make. And I think that's what we need to do here today, is recognize that it's the small steps that are gonna make the bigger difference for everyone in providing housing for everyone.
What are the challenges that today's prospective homeowners face when purchasing a new home?
So obviously you've heard it said 100 times, housing affordability is the primary challenge. And rising housing prices, not just here in Charlotte and the outer parts of Northern and Southern Carolina, but it's happening everywhere. As someone who leads Builder for Wells Fargo, I travel all over the country. And you know, you're hearing on the news, the Northeast and California, people are literally priced out of market. I have a daughter and son-in-law who are both teachers in New Jersey, and for them to be able to buy a home at a teacher's salary was nearly impossible. The same goes in California. So what's happening is that people, the millennials, and even older people that are trying to downsize are leaving the coasts, the northern coast on the east and the whole entire west coast, and they're coming inland. The folks in California, I heard somebody mention it before, they're moving to the Carolinas, they're moving to Idaho, they're moving to Texas, they're moving to Utah, and it's amazing the way you're seeing housing prices raise in those markets now, so that the people that lived there are now having to move even further inland from the west. Same is happening in the Northeast. You see multi-generations moving from New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and moving to the Carolinas. It used to be they all went to Florida. I can tell you that all my neighbors are moving to the Carolinas, and why not? It's a great place to live. I actually own a house in South Carolina and hope to retire there soon. Well, 10 years maybe. Yeah.
Thanks for that. What are the biggest misconceptions consumers have when buying a home?
So, you know, you hear a lot in the media, and the young people today truly believe that they cannot buy a home. I believe 51%, we did a survey, a 2019 homeownership survey at Wells Fargo, and 51% of the millennials truly believe that buying a home is impossible for them. And they cite things such as, you know, down payment, number one reason. They feel that there's no way they have down payment. They've all heard that the only way you can get in a house is with 20% down, which is a fallacy, a myth, and something we need to educate about. Consumer debt, mostly their education debt. I heard someone say 4 years of college isn't for everyone. That is so true. I mean, I know that my generation, my father was like, you're going to college. I can tell you that VOTEC is where it's at today. I mean, the trades, the kids that come out of high school and go into the trades are making a boatload of money. In fact, more money than my 2 college graduate children annually, a lot more annually. And there's a lot of opportunity there. So education loans stand in the way as a barrier. Well, perhaps we have a responsibility to change the mindset about what you do with your future. There is nothing the matter with that, about not going to college. There's nothing the matter with building homes. There's nothing the matter with getting into different types of trades. The other thing that we find stands in the way is just the education. For them to understand that there is opportunity, that you can get in a home with less than 20% down. You know, there are programs which many of you know about that require no to little money down. I mean, FHA, 3.5% down payment. Wells Fargo has a program that we have that you can get into a home with 3% down. So it's about getting the message out there and changing the perception for the millennials especially.
Yeah. How can homeowner education improve this process?
So I'm passionate about this. I think education is critical in getting folks to understand, especially those 51% millennials that think they can't buy a home. If we don't, as an industry, and not just builders, realtors, developers, banking, government officials, if we don't find a way to stop working in silos to fix this challenge, instead collaborate and create action plans, and then execute on those action plans, and not pie-in-the-sky action plans. Just grassroots education for those folks that are looking to buy a home or don't believe they can buy a home because they have all these misconceptions. So I'll give you a personal story. I have been in this industry for nearly 30 years, and I have always worked in front of my family, all 3 of my children. They know what I do. They could talk mortgage speak. They could talk builder speak and realtor speak. In fact, my middle child is actually going for an interview with Wells Fargo. I'm so proud of her, next week. But my oldest daughter, who's 27 years old, 3 years ago got married and told me that they could not afford to buy a home. And I looked at her, I said, really, you both work full-time? Can you explain to me why you think that? And she said, well, we have student loan debt, you know, we don't have the down payment money. I said, well, you just got married, I threw the wedding, and you have all that money left from all the gifts you got, because in the Northeast, we don't give physical gifts, we give money as wedding gifts. So they walked away with a lot of money. I said, if you buy with reasonably and responsibly, and stop looking at these 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom homes, and you get realistic that you are only 26 years old looking for your first home, and oh, by the way, there are these beach bungalows that, you know, buy that 2-bedroom house with 1 bath, get yourself settled, rather than paying rent, get some equity, let's figure out your income. There's no way you can't afford this home. No, Mom, there's no way we could do it. I could not believe that after having a parent that's been in this industry so long that my own child did not realize she could buy a home. We sat there, we figured it all out. That 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, 3.5 years later, is now a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, now has 2 children in it, so there's 4 of them living there, and they're still living within their means. And I think that's the thing we need to do. We need to, no one wants these big homes anymore. Shoot, I have one that I want to sell in New Jersey if anybody's interested. But, you know, we need to have education that teaches these children that, yes, they can do it, believe you can do it, but set parameters that are reasonable, and all of us need to make sure that we sell responsibly to these buyers and we lend responsibly to these buyers so that they can sustain that home ownership.
Thank you, Kelly. We have a brief time, but if you can tell us how you think millennials will impact the market.
I think we just covered that, Dean.
Yeah.
I think we covered that, and I can't believe that I have to leave this great city early because everybody's panicking about snow and we have a flight to catch. So I want to thank everybody for having me here. You are all very fortunate to live in the great state of North Carolina or South Carolina. I think this is just a stepping stone, but we can't just talk. We need to do something, and we need to do it collaboratively.
Thank you for joining me, Kelly. We look forward to hearing the rest of today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.